Here are the real answers to your questions for selling on Amazon. I've spent 10 years in the Amazon industry, and these are some of the most common questions that I will answer for you that will actually help you make money with Amazon and Amazon FBA. Collecting reviews and using them to your advantage. I highly recommend against having friends and family buy products and leave your reviews. You can get suspended for that and never get your store back. Also, you have the guys on Fiverr and Upwork that will say, I will buy your product and leave you, reviews on your product. I recommend against that. Unfortunately, the best way to get reviews on your product is going to be organically through selling it, but when you sell through coupon launch websites or things like that, the customers are going to be more inclined to leave your reviews, and you will get more reviews per sale when you do it that way versus just selling it organically, just only on Amazon only. So when it comes to pricing your products competitively, it's actually going to vary depending on what category and what the competition is like. Even though 80% factor of you getting sales on Amazon for those products is based on the price, there's a 20% bucket of variables that has nothing to do with price, which be your metrics, how old your store is, how much sales history you have in the category, and more specifically, how many sales do you have on that specific SKU or that specific ASIN. A general term that will work in pretty much any category selling on Amazon, pricing competitively is going to be being in the lower 20th percentile. If there's products that range from a price of $50 to $90, the lower 20% of a range of $50 to $90, you would want to be between 50 and 60 or 50 and 65 bucks, which would be somewhere in the lower 20th percentile. So if you feel really confident in a product that you have, but you just don't feel like you have the SEO and your keywords and your listing optimized properly, what should you do? There's going to be three main factors as to why you may or may not be getting the sales that you think you should be getting. One is going to be your PPC and advertising strategy. If you're spending no money on marketing and advertising, that's obviously going to be a given for a private label product. Let's say you're spending money on advertising and PPC and you're not getting the sales you think you should be, or you're not getting your ACoS or how much money you're spending versus how many sales you're getting out of how much you're spending. You don't think it's adding up. There could be three things. One is going to be your strategy. So maybe you need to just use an automatic campaign. I know they suck up the most capital when you just run an automatic campaign on Amazon. For any sales you do get, you will also get the keywords attached to those sales. So if you have 10 sales and then 7 of those 10 sales are from a single keyword, you can then run a manual campaign and target just the keywords that were able to generate you revenue, preferably at a low cost, right? Low enough to be profitable even during advertising is best case scenario. It doesn't always work that way. But this is going to be one of the main causes of you not being able to get sales with your product on Amazon via private label. Number 2 is going to be maybe it's your images and your description. So maybe you need to use a better main image, and you can even have images 3D rendered on Fiverr and Upwork.com. So it's like a really cool, really amazing looking main image. This is very important for private label, that your main image or even your first 2 to 3 images are absolutely knockouts. Your description might not be good enough either. You need to not just have CTAs throughout your entire description, right? You don't want to have...
You want to buy this product because it works so great. It's amazing.
You don't really want to have that type of stuff in your listings, but you do want to have some calls to action, right? So you might have to get a little bit more creative with your description and your bullet points. You want to also have some selling features and benefits of the product, like why should someone buy yours versus somebody else's, right? In the Amazon landscape with private label, it's relatively competitive, so you need to set yourself apart from the competition with really good images, really good bullet points and descriptions. You also want to use not just high search volume keywords, but you want moderate and low search volume keywords as well, because that's going to drive more specific, more targeted traffic to your listings. You definitely don't just want to go for the main keywords only. Like if it's a dog bed, you don't just want to be targeting dog bed as your main keyword. Maybe you want an orthopedic dog bed with a bolster, dog bed with memory foam dog bed for large dogs. You want to make sure to mix it up a little bit and make sure you're using a lot of really good keywords and not just the super high competition keywords. So the Amazon featured offer, there isn't a strategy for you to be able to get it 100% guaranteed every time. But one of the best ways to do it, and it might sound like maybe you don't want to do it because it might eat into your margins, but price is going to be part of the strategy. So getting an Amazon featured offer with a new listing is going to come down to starting out of the gate with the best possible listing you can possibly have. So the images are amazing. The description and bullet points are absolutely amazing. You want to spend a lot of time developing a really masterful listing with images, description, bullet points, keywords, and then having a price that's in the lower, I would say lower 5 to 10 percentile of your competition. So for example, if most people sell an item for $35 to $50, you want to price yours at $35 to $38. $10. You're gonna be at the very bottom, lowest 10th percentile of your competition, because that's gonna increase your odds and likelihood of Amazon's algorithm putting you into the featured offer. I like to have my listings priced a little higher than I normally want to sell them for, because I have another hack I like to use. Let's say my profit margins are 20%, I list it at a 30% margin, and it's still respectable against the competition, but I'm really totally fine with a 15 to 20% margin. I'll start with 30%. Once I get some sales, knock my price down to a 15 to 20% margin, and sometimes Amazon can give you the featured offer that way. Amazon sees your product as, oh, this thing sells really well at $38.99, and now all of a sudden it's $35.99. Amazon's algorithm likes that. Is it worth doing pay-per-click on your products? If you're listing a very single product only and you're only focused on one product, you can use Vipon and like coupon launch websites, and these websites can help you generate sales, reviews, and all that stuff without having to spend on PPC, but you have to give a discount. I would recommend listing products in volume and listing a lot of them and not doing PPC at all, and letting some of the items sell organically, and the ones that you feel really strongly about, use some of the profits from the organic sales to run PPC later. But if you're just learning from the everyday Amazon seller and they all talk about the same crap, then yeah, you're gonna have to do Amazon PPC, and it's gonna be your most worthwhile thing unless you follow Supreme Commerce strategies. If you're selling on Amazon, you do not need to advertise your products on social media. The only time I would personally start spending money on advertising on social media is if you have a product that's already doing well on Amazon, or you're so confident that the product's gonna do well based on a lot of research. I like to prove concept first. I always like to get the item to sell and generate revenue before I decide on external advertising sources besides Amazon PPC. Maybe I can try to get a lower ad cost. So if I'm spending $5 to sell a product with Amazon PPC, maybe I can get $3 to $4 per sale through Facebook or Instagram marketing. It's really not necessary, but if you really want to try it, it doesn't hurt. And if you're having not the best results with Amazon PPC, then I would definitely recommend trying external sources. The biggest mistake I ever made as a seller was in 2018. I started on Amazon in 2014, and in 2018, I did start to see a lot of people get suspended for retail dropshipping. 5-10 years ago, retail dropshipping, it's a gray area. You weren't really allowed to do it, but Amazon didn't really care at that time. But in 2017, 2018, they started to suspend people. And instead of me slowly switching to just private label and Amazon FBA only with reselling the brand name stuff, I continued to do that retail dropshipping. I got greedy about it. I was doing over $100,000 a month in sales. So I didn't want to let that go. And that actually came and bit me in the ass, because I got my store suspended and it took me 5 months to get the store back. A lot of fighting, a couple $1,000 paying different appeal lawyers to help me get the store back. Amazon was my number one breadwinner, so losing that was a huge detriment. And then having to wait 5 months to get it back, and then a few months to get the ball rolling again with a new strategy. It took me a very long time to get back to where I was at before. If anyone's giving you the advice to step into gray area Amazon selling territory like retail dropshipping or two-step dropshipping, Amazon doesn't care if you buy from retail suppliers if you're buying in bulk and sending it to Amazon FBA. What they do care about is the dropshipping. They don't want customers feeling like they've been duped, essentially. So I would just recommend staying away from those, as that was my biggest mistake selling on Amazon. If you want to know what else I've learned in the 10 years of selling on Amazon and building the business in multiple different ways, make sure to head over to the Supreme Commerce Training YouTube channel, where I extrapolate a lot more on all the stuff I know. If you want my help building your Amazon store for you, you have the money for the business, but you don't got the time. I build businesses for my clients. I've been doing it for years. If you want us to build the business for you, simply send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, or send me an email at supremecommerce@outlook.com. Becoming an Amazon seller is a lot more simple when you have the right knowledge and tools and resources to build the business properly. My Mastering Amazon training is about 2 to 3 times cheaper than the average guru course, and it has about 5 times more value. If you want to have me mentor you and personally guarantee you results in the first 90 days, make sure to grab the Mastering Amazon training from the link in my bio or supremecommercetraining.com.